Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Sport, country music artist and host of The Right Place. Here on our show, we'll catch up with the best talent in country music, both past, present, and future. And chances are you'll find your next favorite artist right here on our show.
A former member of the U.S. Army's Elite Task Force Ranger, a recipient of the Bronze Star for Valor for his part in the Battle of Mogadishu, as recounted in the film Black Hawk Down, and one of country music's rising stars. The Right Place with Kevin Sport welcomes Kenny Thomas.
Being real is important. That's what we try to do on our show. That's what we want to convey to our audience. If you've got a chance to talk to every person you ran across, if you had to choose one thing, what would you want to convey?
What I would tell folks is use the gifts you've been given, do what feeds your spirit, because who else can do what you do? You are not an ordinary individual. And I always quote from the book of Romans, which is in the Bible. It's a bestseller. Check it out. Book of Romans, and it's full of these, hey, have you been given the gift to teach? Teach. Have you been given the gift to lead? Then lead. If you've been given the gift to play a song, then go out and play a song. Use the gifts you've been given. That's why I tell people you can make a difference in this world by doing what you love to do.
As promised, here's Becca Ray singing She Talks About L.A.
There's a girl that sings every Thursday to a crowd of drunken fools in a tiny bar in the alley, whether or not she wants to. She's got a smile that looks faded. She's got steel in her eyes, 'cause this nowhere town's overrated. She can see right through the lies. She could tell you the stories about lovers and fortune and fame. She's up till it's light every morning. She talks about L.A.
Hi, I'm Brian White, and you're on The Right Place.
Welcome back to The Right Place. You know, my wife Sandy's a big fan of Brian White too. As a matter of fact, I noticed she had several of his songs on her iPod. She also reminded me that he was one of People magazine's most beautiful people. You know, I might should hate this guy, but I don't, and you won't either. Here's Brian singing Rebecca Lynn in front of a great crowd at the Loft, and they loved him too.
I'm excited about being on this show. Thank you guys for having me. Here's a song about a little girl. Rebecca Lynn grew up in Columbus, half a mile from Tucker Cherry's farm. A quiet girl with green eyes full of fire, her daddy's pride and other mama's charm. Rebecca Lynn gave my heart's desire long about the start of second grade. Mrs. Rosenblum let me sit beside her, so we passed notes and at the school we played, singing.
I always ask this question to everybody that comes on, because it's kind of a theme of our show. We want to encourage people. We know life's tough. We know pursuing your dream is tough, but you know, we believe God put it there for a reason, for many reasons, if we'll just have the faith to do it. Mm-hmm. If you just had a couple of minutes with everybody that was a fan, and you could tell them anything that would encourage them along their journey, what would you say?
The Bible says to hang out with people with gray hair. You know, I think that's I think about that every day. I mean, if more people would couple themselves with great men and women that have been through the ringer, you know, I think our world would be a lot better off.
Becky, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been a joy to have you here today.
Thank you.
I always ask this of everybody. If you just had a couple of minutes with anybody that might become one of your fans, to tell them something that would encourage them, along their journey, what would it be?
The most important thing that I would love to convey to people is that you have to keep your priorities in order, because a successful career is a wonderful thing, but it can't hold you close at night.
It's been great to have Kenny with us here today, and this next song is going to touch your heart. It's called In God's Hands Now.
I have so many questions, but I've tried the best I can. I'll never know the reasons, but I know that there's a plan. It's in God's hands now. He's got all the answers, but he ain't saying how. It's in God's hands now. It's in God's hands now. When my illness summer ended in a sad September song, I looked up to heaven for the strength to carry on. To everything's a season, and in time it too shall pass. Pain is but a moment, but his love always lasts. It's in God's hands now.
We have the most decorated Nashville producer ever on our show today, Larry Butler. Larry, thank you so much for coming on.
Glad to be here, really am.
Well, it's a joy and a pleasure for us.
Well, I enjoy your show. You do a great job.
I appreciate that very much. I could start off by saying one of the most obvious things. You're the only country music producer to win a Grammy.
I won the Grammy for Producer of the Year because it wasn't for country music, it was for all music, okay?
I see.
It wasn't for a particular album. And that year I'd worked with John Denver, Kenny Rogers, Charlie Ridge, B.J. Thomas, and Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
Jumped up, ran over and grabbed me and pulled me up out of my chair, hugging my neck and everything. I won it. And I'm still in shock.
That's incredible.
And I'm sure Quincy is too.
And that's country music in general, the message of the song can be so powerful.
Yeah.
You've been fortunate to have quite a few of those.
Oh, yeah.
And tell us about any of them. Awful Beautiful Life, Have You Forgotten? Tell us what's on your heart. I mean, what comes to your mind? What do you want to share with us?
Well, when you mentioned Awful Beautiful Life, I don't want to get choked up here, but I want you to know that the guy that I wrote that song with just passed. He had cancer, terrible bad, and it finally got him, and I've known him for years. And I give so much credit to him for my success. I think that was one of the songs that just kind of kept things really rolling once we got some momentum, and it's one of the songs that still to this day, it's one of my most valuable copyrights, because I mean, everything in that song, any line you can think of, it's all the truth. And that's the way most of my songs are. I mean, from my little brother and his wife getting into that big fight and her sitting between them the rest of the night, that happened not too long before we wrote the song. I had a cousin, Michael, in Iraq at the time. I mean, all of those things that are in that song are real life things, and I believe that if you can capture those things and put them in a song, there's not anybody out there in the real world that won't relate to that.